Andrew Wolnez just went by. This is why I make sure I record 24/7. I don't really have it in me to yell at him right now. He's literally gonna make me kill him to knock this shit off. Mm-hmm. All right. God, man, wolnez is such a useless twat. Mm. Well, I ain't got much voice left to scream with, so yesterday it was getting pretty hoppy. It sounded like I was trying to fake cry. I'm like, fuck, I can't speak. It sounds like I'm cracking like a pubescent boy. Let's see. Well, he walked right across there, right in front of my car. There's a bunch of bushes in the front, so all he could really do is if he wanted to, he'd have to throw something. Too bad by the time he saw my car, he didn't have anything left to throw this time. If you want to be angry, you're on the internet. Well, you need to be angry at the police for not doing their fucking jobs. If you're angry that you're on the internet instead of in prison, just wait, son. He's not ugly enough to be my kid, is he? All right, so here's the thing. The cops, when they took me to the Longmont Hospital, they thought they were just going to go in there and tell the hospital staff that I was schizophrenic and that the hospital was going to hold me for 3 days. Instead, when I got there, they had told me that when we got there that I would be able to make a police report finally. Instead, when we got to the hospital, it separated me from my backpack full of evidence and put me in a room by myself with a security guard outside of the room. So I pestered the security guard to get those cops to come back. And when the security guard wouldn't do that, I got loud. Hey, them cops were supposed to come take a police report. Get them back here. Get them back here now. You're socially isolating me for trying to tell on predators. This is not okay. I've got a backpack full of evidence right there on the floor, right in front of the security guard, that I'm trying to turn in. I told that to the officers. They're fucking aware of it. They need to come back here and do their jobs. So the cops came back and they bum rushed me and held me down and put drugs in me. I don't remember much after that. That's specifically because of the drugs that they put in me, at the request of those officers who I was trying to turn in. What happens when you try to turn officers into their fellow officers? Nothing good. Now, one of them officers was Officer Amanda Jonas. One of these officers was Officer Burke, who used to work in Broomfield until he fucked up in the Natalie case and lost his goddamn job. So they just let him move to another jurisdiction. Now that was Officer Burke of Longmont Police Department by that point. So what'd they do? They came in, injected me with drugs. Now I was already in 4-point shackles, mind you, at this point. There's no reason for anybody to touch me, and anybody who puts their hands in my hands at this point is intentionally trying to pull an assault. They've already coordinated this with the officer. And in Denver and Boulder, they practice this technique with local hospital staff. Now the problem is that Officer Burke, while this doctor type feller was trying to put his hand in my hand, and I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? He keeps slapping my palm with his palm. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? Meanwhile, Officer Burke starts going around and feeling pressure points and squeezing them real hard. I'm like, there's a bunch of hospital staff in here allowing this officer to put his nasty cockbeaters all over me and physically assault me. Luckily, I'm autistic and I have a high pain threshold. And even though he's a big boy, he couldn't find one that he could make me react to until he took out my knee. He squeezed me right here. I was in 4-point shackles. There was no reason for him to put his hands on me. There was no reason for any of them to put their hands on me. The inhumane actions that they committed to, the felonies that they committed in order to help the Bollinger family, because they're just poor girls who can't defend themselves. They didn't need to defend themselves from anything except criminal actions. They had gaslighted me, bullied me, threatened me, harassed me for over 8 months since Natalie's death by that point. With my quote-unquote friends, people like Mandy Hughes and later on Alyssa Rainwater. These people promise them that they're going to come forward, and every time it's time to do so, they always have some emergency. Well, if you had that emergency, you need to turn it in, that's the reason that you didn't help. What the police wrote was a lot different. Fuck it though, well, life is what it is. Shitty if you don't have real friends. I guess I'm gonna go over and get some more yogurt. Stuff is pretty good. Well, still wasting gas. 35% battery. I keep trying to tell people it is important to make sure that the local predators stop. That means helping to turn them in. A lot of people are like, well, we got to focus on getting you an advocate. Yes, we do. The problem is that advocate needs to take it seriously and as an emergency, and they're not going to do that unless you tell them it's an emergency. And the situation with the cops is absolutely an emergency, and that needs to be mentioned. Not just mentioned, but clearly stated. And everybody, thank you. Thank you very much. Always one of them fellers. I don't know what kind of personal life he has. What I know is that he's out and about. He's trying to be pleasant. He's trying to improve the quality of his life and the lives of those around him by not being a fucking shit stain. Someone calling themselves Elena Richie Ramirez typed, hi, my name is Lily. Someone calling themselves Void Bjerg typed, hi. Someone calling themselves DASIY typed, hello. Hola. Hola, señores and señoritas. I know just about enough Spanish to get myself castrated if I went to pretty much any Spanish-speaking nation. My Spanish is atrocious. My pronunciation is atrocious. I had to try to learn Spanish from a book, so I didn't retain much. When I finally did learn some Spanish, it was mostly kitchen Spanish, but I didn't work in the kitchen, I worked in the dish room. Also known as the dish pit. He usually works in the dish pit. High school kids, homeless people who are trying to get unhomeless, or illegal immigrants, usually. Nobody ever wants to pay real money for the dish pit. Oh. a 10. Creamy Oregon dark cherry. Will you too? It's not very good. People are fucking nuts.
Of a tank, an Israeli-made heavy armored vehicle is renowned for its robust defenses. A comparison between these two, where precision can often tip the scales in unexpected ways. Let's see whether the Al Yassin can destroy the Israeli Merkava tank. Al Yassin 4. It was named after 22, 2004. While its primary purpose is to target tanks in practice, it has been used. Hamas has recently released a video showcasing a new 105mm anti-tank shell, claiming its capability to destroy an Israeli Merkava tank. According to their statements, these 105mm anti-tank rocket-propelled grenades, RPG shells, were reportedly used by Hamas's Al-Qassam brigade during Operation Al-Aqsa Flood, resulting in the destruction of an Israeli Merkava main battle tank. The production of Al Yassin 105mm anti-tank shell is believed to take place in Gaza, potentially with technical assistance from Iran via Hezbollah, and sourcing raw materials from within Gaza or through smuggling routes from Egyptian, Lebanese, and neighboring territories. It is estimated that around 200 units have been manufactured. While the current status of production or development remains uncertain,
There's definitely more than
Hamas
200.
continues to feature the Al Yassin in their press releases, and international media outlets have occasionally reported on their presence in Palestine. The Yassin launcher is quite similar in design to the Soviet RPG-2. Although Hamas has not officially disclosed the performance details of the launcher and its ammunition, it is likely that they are similar to those of the RPG-2. It is estimated that the Yassin has a muzzle velocity of 295 meters per second, a firing rate of 3 to 4 rounds per minute, and an effective range of approximately 100 meters against vehicles, although the projectile can likely travel farther. The Yassin primarily employs an anti-tank projectile armed with a shaped charge, high-explosive anti-tank heat warhead, estimated to penetrate about 200 millimeters of rolled homogeneous armor equivalency, RHAE. Fighters from the Popular Resistance Committee's Saladin brigades have claimed that a Yassin successfully disabled a Merkava Mark III tank, likely by hitting a vulnerable spot, although specifics are unclear. In other scenarios, the Yasin can be effective against walls made of brick or similar materials, as well as soft-skinned vehicles, including those with up to 210 millimeters of steel armor plating. Information from says that it can pierce through up to 200 millimeters of steel armor. Now let's have a look at the Israeli Merkava tank and its ability to withstand the Yasin anti-tank missile. The Merkava main battle tank is the backbone of the Israeli Defense Forces. The Merkava 1 was introduced into service in 1978 and first saw action during Operation Peace for Galilee in 1982, where it performed effectively in engagements with Syrian T-62 tanks. Nevertheless, it suffered some losses in battle, prompting improvements in the subsequent Merkava 2 tank, featuring enhanced-based armor. The most recent Merkava 4 boasts a more potent engine and has recently been equipped with a sophisticated active protection system designed to counter anti-tank missiles and rockets. The original Merkava 1 did not utilize composite armor technology. Instead, the Israeli design employed a highly angled turret, contributing to the Merkava's futuristic appearance. The attack angle, while also reducing its target profile. Latest models did integrate is very concerned about the threat of advanced anti-tank missiles used by insurgents. In the 2006 war in Lebanon, Hezbollah 5 tanks were hit and 6 were destroyed. It is important to note that Hezbollah used the Kornet anti-tank missile, which is one of the best in the world and can penetrate 1,200 millimeters or RHA, unlike the Yasin. After the Lebanon conflict, the Israeli Defense Forces IDF introduced the Merkava IBM windbreaker variant. This tank has a strong missile defense system called the Trophy Active Protection System. This system uses radar to detect incoming missiles and tries to shoot them down with a special shotgun blast. It also tells the tank's crew where the missile came from so they can fire back quickly. The good news is that the Trophy system has proven to be very effective in combat. It has successfully shot down many missiles and rockets, including the dangerous RPG-29 and the AT-14 Kornet. In 2008 and 2014, no Merkava tank were lost in combat, even though the 2014 war was quite a challenge for the IDF. The Merkava tank has several unique design features aimed at keeping the crew safe. For example, the engine is placed in front of the crew compartment to help absorb some of the impacts from incoming shells. There's also a small hatch at the back of the tank, which allows the crew to exit safely or helps transport friendly infantry and wounded personnel. To add to their protection, chains with iron balls hang from the rear turret, which can trigger rocket-propelled grenades prematurely, especially when aimed at the tank's thinner rear armor. The Merkava's armor is estimated to provide a level of protection between 900 and 1,300 millimeters of rolled homogeneous armor RHA. Because of these design features, when hit by Hamas's Yasin anti-tank missiles, the Merkava tank remains undamaged. So what are your thoughts on this? Do share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Thank you guys for viewing in. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Were you recently injured in a car accident? Look at this check for $160,000. If you're looking to get money you're owed for an injury, I want you to imagine you and your family.
This is the Israeli Merkava main battle tank. Its 120mm MG253 smoothbore cannon can fire multiple types of munitions on target 2,000 meters away while on the move, thanks to its sophisticated fire control system. The development of the Merkava tank takes us through multiple wars and a unique period in Israel's history. It tells us a lot about how Israel's domestic military-industrial complex became the powerhouse it is today. I want to find out what type of tactics and strategy work best with the Merkava in urban warfare. We'll also explore the vehicle's strengths and weaknesses. It's famously known as one of the heaviest and most well-protected ever built. Many open source numbers claim that it's 65 tons, but in reality, its latest version with the trophy protection system weighs 74.5 tons. That's equal to 42 Toyota Camrys. As you can see, Merkava tanks assembling outside Gaza were observed to be outfitted with brand new metal armor cages on top of the vehicle, not seen in the past. These metal cages are designed to catch or slow down incoming kamikaze drones and bombs dropped from UAVs overhead. One Merkava tank was knocked out by Hamas during an overhead bombing attack during the October terror attacks. This is foreshadowing of what the Merkava could face inside the urban terrain in Gaza. A lot has changed since the last ground invasion in 2014, and drone attacks are one of the main shifts in tactics since then. The counter-drone strategy was first deployed by the Russian military on top of their tanks to stop Ukrainian attack drones. Originally called cope cages, it was a term with a kind of negative connotation because the cages look like a low-tech ghetto rig solution to counter a high-tech problem. But since then, the cages have quickly become a standard operating procedure on tanks around the world. The idea for cage armor is actually not that new. It was on my Striker when I deployed to Iraq over 10 years ago, and its first instances go all the way back to World War II. The Merkava tank has already reportedly entered into the Gaza Strip in small numbers. These tracked vehicles will lead the way as shock firepower. Tanks and urban warfare have a difficult history together because the tanks are vulnerable to RPG attacks in close quarters. Many started to think that tanks in city streets were a liability. I have a lot of military-grade equipment that's built to last, which is why I chose the Ridge Men's Wedding Band Ring. The Ridge Ring is made from premium materials like carbon fiber, titanium, and 24-karat gold, so they're made to last a lifetime. Unlike when my rifle broke, Ridge offers a replacement ring. And unlike when my body armor plates stopped fitting because I packed on 10 pounds of pure pasta-fed muscle, Ridge offers a free resizing surface. From cooking to hunting, these rings are designed to be stylish and comfortable at the same time, thanks to its outer beveled edge and inner convex shape. It is a no-pinch fit. As many of you know, I recently proposed to my girlfriend Caitlin and she didn't even say no. And now their silicone rings have new available colors: matte olive, royal black, alpine navy, gunmetal, and base camp orange. Just like their metal rings, they come with a silicone band and a travel case. So make the Ridge ring a part of your everyday carry. To check it out yourself, just click the link in the description or head over to ridge.com/taskandpurpose to see their wide selection. And make sure to use code taskandpurpose at checkout to get 10% off. But when used correctly, this isn't the case. They're the only weapons platform on the ground with the firepower necessary to destroy an enemy entrenched behind concrete. In an urban warfare environment, you can't live with them and you can't live without them. IDF Brigadier General Ibrahim is the commander of the IDF's Armored Corps. It's his entire job to make sure Israel's main battle tanks and tactics and strategy is ready for battle. In an interview with The Economist magazine, he said, quote, "We no longer see the tanks as being capable of doing everything. The battlefield has changed. It's more crowded and built up. There are many challenges to these big platforms, and I expect the infantry and engineers to make up for my disadvantages." End quote. What's significant about the Merkava deployment towards Gaza right now is that for the first time in over 4 decades, the entire Israeli Armored Corps has been called up. This hasn't happened since 1982 with the war with Lebanon. So about 1,000 of these Merkava main battle tanks have been activated, many of which will head to cover the northern border. But where did Israel's tank strategy and design originally come from? In the year 1948, when Israel was first born, the country faced threats